Welcome back to centre court here, folks. The main broadcast court, men's elite division. Still a round game, round of 12. But this folks, this is going to be good. This is a huge game between the Queensland pairing of Reeves and Blake, taking on the number 1 seeds of Burnett and McHugh. Nice little start from the Queenslanders. On net infringement, Reevesy is going to be the, well, we'll say the more boisterous of the two of Reeves and Blake. And Blake is going to do a lot of the blocking. And Reevesy's probably going to do a lot of the smack talking. That one goes in just on the sideline. What a cracker. Atmospheric conditions perfect out there. A little bit of cloud cover. Coolish breeze has just started to come down the river. Paul Burnett, first chance to go whackety whack whack, and is a huge amount of strength in those shoulders of his. Good start, both teams on the board. Hey, there's McHugh picking up where he left off. Banging up to a 3-all scoreline as that wind just trying to figure out what it wants to do as the change in temperature hits Thompsons Beach here in Cobram. And Blake puts a ball off the top of the McHugh block into the back of the court. And they'll change ends at 4-3 with Reeves and Blake leading. And it's the latter of the two at the baseline now. Reevesy with that big beard at the front of the net. Burnett on 2. Burns it. With Blake shanking it out the side. 4-all. With our most recent Olympian, Chris McHugh, ready to send down a bomb. And he goes bang, and a little bit of a misfire from the big fella. Not quite getting the contact that he wanted. Good ball toss, was going to use the wind to his advantage, but we just cut it a little too much. Nice set from Burnett. Met by the guys in green, but the point goes the way of the men in magenta. Great serve from Paul Burnett. Good push. Little stuff block from a set that was far too tight from Blake. And not a lot of Reeves he could do about that one. And to be honest, he probably did very, very well to avoid any sort of contact or too much forceful injury or anything to McHugh at the net. Those two battle again. We're all tied up, 6-all. Reeves has been a feature of beach volleyball in Queensland for decades, and he's featured prominently on the Australian Beach Volleyball Tour for quite some time as well. But Rest assured, if you don't know where he is, you can certainly hear him on the winds. Contrary to how he looks, he doesn't smell that bad. He's doing an absolutely ripping job out there at the moment. And speaking of ripping, let's see what McHugh's got. He's just buried it into the net again. Not quite his day at the moment on serve, at least. We've got a 7 points all score line as we change ends once again. And it's going to be Reevesy with his version of a serve, and finds the back corner, but just a little too long, much to his disappointment and dismay. He's the bearded behemoth, but he's a big bloody gentle giant at the same time. His bark's a lot worse than his bite. Off court, anyway. Great hands from Burnett, and those hands were met from the big Blake block. Bloody hell. Not often you get that chance against some of the big boys, and took it with both hands, literally. Burnett brings the hammer. Blake can't quite control that defensive up. And a 1 point advantage to the men in magenta. McHugh goes to change up serve, whether that's to do with the end that he's on or the fact that he had some fairly unsuccessful services of the topspin variety. Follows it into the net and can't quite get the control touch on the block. And a 4-touch called. Good set from Reeves to Blake, but Blake just tried to do a little bit too much and find too much angle. Didn't find the block and found too much net, and all of a sudden they find themselves in arrears by 2 points. 2 ball. Nicely done by Blake. But Burnett met on the defense. Gets a big bounce, loses his hat, and a big stuff block again. McHugh, the big bloody phone booth. It's like a TARDIS for you Doctor Who fans out there. Somehow bigger than he looks, which is impressive because Chris is a big man. And we'll go to our first tech timeout, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Athletes summoned back onto the court midway through this first set. Men's elite competition, round of 16 matchup. Number 6 seeds taking it to the number 1 seed. Australian Beach serve as they lead by 3 after taking the timeout.
Back here on centre court after that tech timeout. Long ball from Reeves and Blake, and we've got ourselves a little bit of a handy little buffer here for the men in magenta in McHugh and Burnett, our number 1 seeds here. This is the men's elite side of the draw. all part of the competition. And Reeves, he finds not only the court, but the shed here at our central commentary position, where I am joined by Zach Schubert. However, he's usually on court, and I quite enjoy him on court because he's a very entertaining man, but I've also heard that he's just entertaining in general. I've seen some of his Instagram, and I hear you're huge on TikTok. Is this correct?
I did have one video blow up on TikTok. It was about 3 years ago. It was about me stacking 50-cent coins, believe it or not. So,
I do recall
yeah,
this.
I got 8. It's the equal world record, or the Australian record anyway, because we're the only ones who have that coin.
Fantastic. Well, 50 cents, you said.
Yeah, have you ever had a shot at it?
So what's the trick?
Oh, you just got to find the coins that are the smoothest. No wear and tear.
That's a bold strategy. It's clearly paid off for you, so well done. You couldn't do it with the 20-cent pieces?
Oh,
The round version is not so good as the the hexagonals?
Yeah, I need to actually get some sharper edges on the 20-cent pieces. Did you see how sharp that hit was then from Chris Blake? That's
Chris
incredible.
Blake, tell us a little bit about Chris Blake. You've played against him for how many years now?
Oh,
Seems like forever.
Been around, yeah, he's been around for a day and a half, hasn't he? To be honest. Yeah, I've played Chris since like my very first time on tour, which would have been now 8 years ago.
Yep.
It's been a while, nearly since you were playing.
That was a long time ago. Speaking of big Chris's, Chris McHugh just does what he does best. Big shots and losing hats.
It's that nose, mate. He cops him on the nose too many times.
You're right. He does know.
We've got a score check is 10-16.
It's going to be McHugh to serve again. He's sent down a couple of bombs, but this one actually finds it over the tape and in. And a timeout going. While we've still got you, Zach, now you've had a little bit of an injury and a clean out and a bit of surgery. Talk to us about your experiences there. What's going on?
Clean out. It's nearly an understatement, isn't it? Yeah, I've had a bit of work done on both my knees. So after the Continental Cup, that was in August last year. So we knew about my injuries in January, but we just didn't have a lot of time to fix them up. Then we had a mission, and we had a vision of like qualifying with men's team for the Olympics, first time since 2008. So we only had one kind of focus the whole cycle, and that was to do that. And we ended up getting it done, so there was no regrets there.
Yeah.
But it just left my knees in a pretty bad state. So had a 35% tear in my patella tendon on my right knee, and then on my left knee I had a 5% tear in my quad tendon and a bunch of bone fragments or ossicles, what they call them. So it was pretty messy down there. It was a little bit more than a clean-up.
Bloody hell. Sounds like carnage.
It literally was carnage.
I did see you at your peak. You were very keen to not land on your feet for quite some time there. You were landing horizontally, sideways.
Hurt.
Yeah. With good reason. How's it travelling now? You're back on the sand, which is great.
Yeah, I'm back on the sand. I was out here yesterday doing some jumps and some movements where we're just building it up slowly. We're in no rush to get this right because this will be the make or break for my career, getting my knees healthy again. So for me, I've got plenty of time to get it right. And yeah, I can't wait to be back out here because I can tell you what, it looks absolutely amazing at the moment.
Yeah, I bet you're just itching to get out there, huh?
It's been a painful weekend so far.
The ego and the spirit are building back up, much like your knees.
Exactly. So, yeah, and this is going to be my favourite event.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the fourth time we've had this event here in Cobram, and I'm so happy they keep taking us back. We'll keep welcoming us back because all the locals are so friendly, and then this is like my hometown. Yeah. This is very, very similar to my hometown. Yep. So playing on the river, the Murray River, it's just unreal.
Tell us a little bit about back home. You're a Renmark boy, is that correct?
No.
Excuse me.
Way. It's an insult.
You're welcome out there, fans.
No, I'm from Loxton.
Sorry, Loxton.
Yeah, Loxton, L-Town. Yeah. That ball goes long from Chris.
Bitter rivals, folks, those of you watching, because almost came to fisticuffs there.
Well, it nearly does, man. When it comes to the towns in the Riverland, that's what the region's called. Yeah. There's 4 major towns, and obviously we're all quite friendly. But at the end of the day, sport's everything in the hometown. So there's always a bit of banter there for everyone.
Very good. And you've got yourself not only the gym work and the conditioning to get yourself back into nice catch, get back into great nick. But what else has been going on? Are you happy? You're healthy? What's going on?
Going on in terms of personal life?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Talk to us.
Some bugs.
Yes.
Have you heard that?
Yes. Tell me more about the bugs.
The bugs. Yeah, we it was about 4 years ago. My father and myself, I ended up convincing him to start growing some crickets on the farm. We live in a pretty dry, like similar area to this, like not a lot of rainfall, a lot of sunshine.
Yep.
It's like, how do we be a little bit more sustainable without taking too much water out of the River Murray?
Yep.
Because already millions of litres every year is taken out of there. So let's just create jobs that don't really evolve or centered around the actual water itself, the river. So yeah, now we're farming crickets. They're sustainable for the environment, and we're starting to turn them into some food products. So we've got some pasta, some corn chips, and some flour going out.
Yeah,
which is quite nice. It's called grub protein, and we hopefully we can just continue to improve the recipes and get some more flavors out there, some different things. And
that's brilliant. Do we find them online, or are they in stores? We're allowed to mention anything on YouTube?
hopefully we will get them into stores. Hopefully, very soon.
Yep.
But like a major part of the farm is actually the livestock market. So for just feeding to, we have like poultry farms, fish farms, and then we also got like reptiles as well. People want live cricket, so it's been a bit of a journey, a bit unique, it's a bit different from volleyball.
What was your dad's first reaction? It wasn't met with crickets, was it? Was it?
Because I just had him growing in my house in Adelaide, and then he just Dad loves anything to do with farming and livestock, so he was an easy convince, and he could see the potential from day one. So that was great, and I've got one of the most supportive dads ever. So that's a huge benefit.
That's always a help. Now we've got ourselves a set point here for the first set, the men's. So we're still in the round of 12, so there's plenty of beach volleyball still to come for whoever doesn't win this one. But how do you see this one going? Because the boys in magenta had a little bit of a funny start to the day, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a bit of a hiccup this morning.
Yeah.
I think not many people would have picked Matt and Martin to knock the boys off, but they did it in 3. Quite tight in the end. I think it was 15-13 in the end.
Yep.
But yeah, I think everyone always underestimates how hard we train during the week coming into tournaments like this. We don't back off or taper or anything like that. So even last night, Chris and Paul were doing a conditioning session at the end of their game. So we're going flat out to prepare ourselves for the up and coming season.
So that wasn't punishment for...
Not punishment.
Cool.
Not punishment. Not punishment. So, no, the boys, I'm sure they're going to come out, and they've got a point to prove now, which is always nice. And they're already responding, which is the biggest thing.
That's it. Well, they've just taken out the first set, 21-14 over the Queenslanders. Now, what's the next step for your journey back onto the court? So you've told us about what you're doing. What are you about to do?
What am I about to do?
What's the next phase?
The next phase is building my jumps up. It's the most important part for our sport is being able to jump a lot of times during the week. And I probably need to hit a goal of about 600. I'm at 150 a week so far. Okay. Build up 50 jumps every week from here on out. Yep. Just a slow increase. And that's obviously spread across 5 days. So it's only a 10 jump increase as well. So it's a small build up. Yep. And I'm just looking forward to playing whenever I get the next opportunity. So if that's going to be the last national tour event, or if it's a World Tour event to start off with, whatever it is, I'm just looking forward to playing again because it's the closest I've ever felt to retirement, having these 2 knee surgeries. I don't want to give it up yet.
Don't do it. You're a long time retired, mate. Well, it sounds fascinating. It sounds encouraging, which is probably the best thing for obviously yourself getting back out there. And we always hear other sports with basketball workloads or footy workloads, bowling workloads in cricket and whatnot. So it's good to get an insight into your workload in our sport in beach volleyball. So
and I've got a smaller workload than most. If you look at someone like Chris who's running to the net every single time. So you think about he's got the jump serve, he's got a block, and then maybe he might even make a dig or something. If he pulls off the net, you never know. He could do 3 jumps in one rally. Yeah, and so he might clock up. Say just this tournament, I reckon he's going to be probably 1,500 jumps by the end of it. It'll be big.
Jesus.
It'll be a big weekend.
It's a very big weekend. Now I must admit, not having seen Chris for a little while now, he's looking slimmer. Not that he was ever large or any other such superlative to that. But he's looking a lot more trim and probably slender in sort of the broadness aspect of his chest and shoulders. Have you got a new program or conditioning coach or anything?
Maybe because I see Chris on a daily basis, I don't know. I don't see it as much, but a few people have mentioned that he's a little bit slimmer, and because we've been running. Yeah. We have been running and running and running. We've got Daniel Baburis is our new strength and conditioning coach, and he comes from a bit of a footy background, a bit of tennis background.
Yep.
And like he's been given the mission to just make us fit.
Yep.
Like as fit as possible. So we want to be the fittest teams and the fittest players on tour, no matter what's going on with the conditions. We don't want to lose a game because of our fitness. We want to lose a game because the other team either like they're more skillful or like they've got a better strategy. We think that. Or even though you can control all those things, fitness is the number one thing that you can control.
Yep.
So, and if we can train for longer, we can train at a high quality for a longer period of time. That's the goal with it. So, Chris is looking skinnier.
That's brilliant.
And it's good.
Yeah. Especially coming off the back of an Olympics. To almost be fitter than where you were at the Olympics is a pretty big statement from him.
Yeah, and I know Chris won't hate me from saying this, but Chris can be a bit on the old pudgy side. So he won't hate me for that. But it is really good. Everyone's training really hard. Yeah. Like we're based in Adelaide, the men's program, so it's really like we're just locked away down there, just going to town every single day. There's a ball on court, Chris. That could have been a career-ending one.
So there's a chance. No.
Yeah.
I believe that's a replay, so we've got ourselves still early stages. Chris is going to load up again, leading 2 points to 1 here in the second set after they took out the first set, 21-14. What's he going to do? Load up. He's taken a little bit to get used to the conditions today. He started the day with a couple of this game with a couple of faults, then took it back a bit to his float serve. Is that a conditions thing for him or just his feel at the time?
I definitely think it comes down to feeling because we don't have a lot of breeze at the moment, and typically both Chris and Paul can like get on top of their jump serve and absolutely rip it through. So at the moment we've got no breeze. Obviously having that breeze makes it a little bit easier to get top serve in, but at the moment I think the ball's just dropping like crazy. Yeah. I had a passing session the other night, and like it's tough out here. It's a different climate to what probably most people will be playing in.
Yeah. You find that the conditions here, because we talked about a little bit before you came in about the river sand holding more heat. So with the conditions sort of below the net, there's not a lot of atmospheric clearance from that heat, rather than being, let's say, bayside or beachside, waterside.
Bang goes.
Another bang.
Yeah, there is no doubt. So I can remember the very first year we had a tournament here. That would have been 2018, I believe, 2018, and we had a 44-degree day, and I reckon it got pretty close to 60 on the sand.
I think last year was definitely 60 out there. Yeah,
and it was hot. I can remember playing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun was slowly starting to get down, and it was just I couldn't believe how hot it was still. So I ended up getting blisters for the week.
Wow.
There's a touch there, very small touch.
Nicely done. That takes us to 4-all here in the second set. You mentioned this being probably one of your favourite venues in the country. Where else have you played?
In Australia?
Yeah.
In terms of favourite events?
Yeah, let's say Australia. We'll keep it local.
I've got a soft spot for Manly.
Yeah.
I think nearly everyone does.
I think everyone does, even because if you're not from there.
It's iconic, right?
Yeah.
If I could afford to live there, I would. I think most people would.
You're in one of the egg cartons out bush with your crickets, so.
I could do a shipping container because that's where I grow my crickets in. I could just have a shipping container on Manly Beach somewhere, roll out for a surf, come back, play some ball.
I think you might be onto something there, mate.
Yeah, shipping containers wouldn't be a good look though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manly's got to be one of the favourite. I think even Cooley last year.
Yeah.
It's just a huge beach, and in between games you can go walk up around. There's a bit of nature, a couple of snakes floating around if you're not careful, but the turkeys are always a good crack up there too.
Back to the action. Jeez, Reeves, finding those angles. You've played Reevesy. We touched on Blakey. Reevesy, the behemoth with a beard.
It's great.
The spiking Viking.
Love playing against Rob. He's so fun, not only because he's just a good volleyball player, but also because he's a good human.
Yeah.
So he always makes it entertaining. It's always out there with a bit of a smile, especially when like you've done something good or he's done something good. Like he knows, he acknowledges it. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Dig there from Chris.
Oh. Thought we were going to get the backhanded Panther from Reevesy, but no to Vale.
The backhanded Panther. We're at 5. What is it? 5-7. 7 serving 5.
What's Paul Burnett like, other than being a freak and super handsome?
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, Paulie in the program is known as he's got the big 3. So he's smart, he's good looking, and he's good at sport, which is, it's pretty tough to find.
That's grounds for dismissal right there.
It is, isn't it? It isn't.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, when you go out, right, you've got no chance. I know I'm a taken man, and lucky I am, because I wouldn't be having a shot anyway if I went out with him.
And he's nice too.
Yeah, let's go the big 4 then.
What a jerk.
Yeah, Paulie's made some great improvements over the last, what are we talking? He's been in Adelaide for now 6 years, and definitely the last 12 months, 2 years, like it's just been a huge growth from Paul's side of things. He's always been super athletic, but now he's just starting to find himself like where he can actually put himself above the net and get the ball down. So it's great to see Paul, and he works hard. And at the end of the day, I think that beats talent. So he's got the talent and he's got hard work. So who knows where he can go?
Yeah, that's a winning combination right there. So speaking of winning combinations, the men in magenta have got their work cut out here in the second set. So it's a little tight, but this is usually where they get to work.
8-7. Chris up for the serve. Almost found the hand there.
Finds a way through once again, big Chris McHugh. Now,
I'd like to see a little bit more service pressure coming from the blokes in green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Chris and Paul, they're like, that's the difference at the moment. Like the pressure coming from the serve is going to be the difference right now.
They're certainly all able to hold themselves, hold their own, at the top of the net. So it's certainly not like there's going to be a misfire or a
net touch.
As I just say, that is a misfire. Certainly,
Chris
the weaponry of both teams is a threat to each other. But yeah, you're right. It's a bit of service pressure. What would you like to see from the guys in green? How would you take down your training partners?
How would I take down my It's like I said before, it's that serve. They're just putting them in too easy. And with Chris and Paul, right, their strengths are hitting. So if you're giving them an easy serve, they're just going to make their hits consistently 10 times out of 10. Or Chris. So that's what we need to do. More pressure like that. I wouldn't feel disappointed or like worried about a serve like that. Into the top of the tape, that's the pressure that needs to be happening time and time again.
Yep.
He's just too high, isn't he?
Yeah, that's an understatement.
As a blocker, you feel like you're just reaching and you can never get there.
Yep.
You normally want to be pushing over the net, but if you can't push over the net to get the height, you're useless.
I've made a career out of blocking upwards.
Try and get a touch.
I'm just a vertical defender, if I can do anything.
That's a great dig.
Oh, cracking hand. Can he turn it? He can, but he's going back in.
Oh, no,
He's been met. Still smiling as they start falling.
And that's what I love about the team in green. Like, they're always out there for a smile and a good time.
Yeah. Well, certainly last year at Coolangatta was
the home
it was
beach.
an event.
It was the home beach for Rob, right?
Now, Coolangatta Beach, for those of you that don't know, is quite a long way from the boardwalk or from sort of the esplanade, and it's it was incredible to see a throng of people go, what is that noise coming from the beach, and just end up down there. And it was Reevesy and Blakey just making all the noise and drawing in the locals like moths to a flame.
Yeah, Rob runs a bit of a camp down there, training sessions. So that's his home beach. And like a few of the locals that will be playing down there would have come out and supported him. So it's pretty cool. Like I think that we'll see that again this year. Rob will be making the final, if not the semi. So he'll be loving it, and he won't be missing a moment.
That's great. Now, do you get Do you get any fan mail or people coming down from Loxton to hit the beach when you're playing at home? Or
Well, we need it. We need to have an event in Loxton.
Well, no, as in South Australia.
Oh, in
Anybody
South
coming down to
Australia.
Glenelg and
Well,
whatnot for the SA Open?
That's the crazy thing about Adelaide is it's just a big country town. You can't go anywhere in Adelaide without seeing someone you know.
Yep.
That's my feeling anyway. You walk down Glenelg and you feel like you've seen half your high school still.
That's because you're very well known there.
No, not at all. Not at all. Adelaide's just tiny. Yeah, it's great. No, and I missed the SA Open this year, but I was happy enough that Damo and Justy took that out.
That was incredible.
Because we're all massive fans of the Schumans.
Who isn't?
Yeah, and I bet you I can actually see Justy right now. He's about warming up for his game. They're going to be on next.
Yeah. He's sporting a bit of the flying doormat haircut as well, which seems to be the fashion at the moment.
It is. He's a character, and we all love it.
Isn't he?
Cut shot.
Oh, that is
Out.
just wide of the sideline. Paul Burnett was crawling through the sand like a sure video clip.
First cut shot of the day from Chris. Huge serve from Paulie. The boys are just steamrolling now. 8:15.
Is there a not to get too in depth into your in-house talks or behind four walls, whatever they call it? Is there? I not often notice more of a push when you hit around about that sort of 10 mark when the total points are about 20 or you're on 10. There's a bit more of a push to extend in a set.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a conscious thing where you're like, we're going to break away here now. I think it's just the natural rhythm of the game. So you'll start to see and you'll start to work out who's come to play today from the opposition, and you'll start to see who's handling the best serves and what type of serves are working well.
Yep.
And over time, that's what you have to do in volleyball. You have to be ready for the team to evolve and change.
Yep.
And I just think the teams like Chris and Paul, they've played a lot. They've played at the highest level, and especially Chris. So over time, you start to work out, how do we beat this team? And then that's just typically at around 10 points, you've found a rhythm and you've found a strategy that works well. And so that's what we're seeing right now, 16-9.
That's the volleyball IQ. It's good.
Wish I could be that clear thinking on the court.
Or maybe these moments of clarity off the court when you rebuild yourself.
It's a development moment right now, isn't it?
I can feel it happening.
I'll have you to thank in the future.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. Everybody out there. Do we know a little bit about Chris's left bicep at the moment, other than being enormous? What's going on?
Phoebe Bell did ask us who died, but actually it's just a heart rate monitor.
Right. Okay. So nobody's heart stopped. It's tracking his current heart rate. Right. Thank you for not getting too morbid.
Had to throw Phoebe under the bus there. I'm sorry, Phoebe. She wouldn't be watching anyway.
Nah. Bugger.
So no, I think
Swing, Paul Burnett.
Chris doesn't get as high as the boys. We've been wearing heart monitors when we've been doing our conditioning. Most of the boys sit around that 190.
Yeah.
Chris is a little bit older in age, can't get his heart rate up anymore as high as it can.
Okay.
It's good to see it still working though.
Or is it just to prove that he's as fit as you guys? See?
Well, maybe he is fit, but he's not as quick. I've had 2 knee surgeries.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, no one can hear us, so it's okay.
Huge block by Chris then.
And at the change of ends, there's going to be a, what was that?
18-11, I believe.
18-11, yep. So we're edging ever closer to that finale.
18-10, my bad.
What these guys in magenta, obviously being the number 1 seeds, they were downed earlier, as you said this morning. Who do you see as, let's say, the 2 semi-finals? Who are the top 4 in your books?
I reckon the double defending team.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the Hodges, Thomas Hodges, just so everyone knows who I'm talking about, so the full name. Thomas Hodges and Max Gura.
Yeah.
And, the Lego man, as you know him. So, Tom. Good. Building up blocks.
Yeah,
it's going to be exciting. So, even though they don't have a defender, the beautiful thing about their team is they're 2 good blockers.
Yeah.
So, if they can put a good serve in, you never know what's going to happen.
Do you think we'll see a double block? Change the game?
Would love to. I would love to. And for Chris and Paul, they're not big shooting players.
Yep.
They're very hitting orientated. So if there was a double block, I'd love to see the challenge.
They don't look for a defender.
I'd love to see the challenge. So yeah, I reckon that's what the final's going to be. It's perfect. It's going to line up with the draw. That's my prediction.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a great sports bettor, so I won't put any money on it.
I don't think you're allowed to either.
Yeah, exactly. Good save there. So yeah, that's my call. That's my call for the final.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well.
And then I reckon we'll have Isaac Carraher and Mark picking up third place, but I'm not sure who the semi's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Matt and Martin came out this morning and they've got a good run. They've got a good opportunity.
Well, you mentioned him before. What about Justin Garang?
Justin Garang. Yeah, they've got a tougher draw. I'm not sure who they're playing, but they don't line up with they're not lining up with Matt and Martin, who obviously top their pool. So they're not lining up there, which makes it very, very interesting.
Yep.
We've got a bit of a boys squad rolling down to the water, if you can see that on the live stream up in the top right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfect day for it here in Cobram.
Lads. And we've got a 7-point buffer going the way of the number 1 seeds. They lead 12, serving 19. First reception. Let's see if they can pummel this one down and bring up match point. He does, and he did.
He did. And so he should.
Fancy that. And with that first match point, Paul Burnett is going to go to the baseline. All right, you read him. You know the conditions. You know him. Where's he serving?
Float serve into the net. What do you reckon? Nah, I'm just playing.
Commentator's curse. It's the reverse. Well played.
Makes the dig, though.
Defense.
Chris around the pole.
Oi, not quite. Not quite. Still a few match points under their sleeve. Well, I can safely say, mate, it's been an absolute rip-snorting pleasure, just to use some of your local vernacular up in Loxton.
Did I throw it up on the gram, did I?
We not only wish you all the best in your recovery and back on the sand, we can't wait to see you launching yourself, but it certainly sounds like you've got, as Paul Burnett sends that one long.
Not quite.
Not quite. I'm not wrapping you up yet.
You can't kick me out yet. I'm still here.
Well, it sounds like your fitness program and your conditioning is going magically, and it sounds like you got a pretty good source of protein behind you as well. So,
definitely. Thank you. Yes, I'm about to go run my guts out on the river.
Oh, nice.
Can't wait.
Brilliant. Use the Murray Current as a swim spa, and another one goes wide.
We're calling time out.
Oof.
The boys must be worried. Oh, it's also an end change.
Yeah.
2015.
Tactical.
Your destination for state-of-the-art simulated sports is the Bunker at Sporties. 4 bays of exciting sports and games to choose from, including golf, soccer, shooting range, bowling, and more. You'll have a blast at the Bunker.
Tell you what, you don't have a bad job here, do you? Aircon inside while the boys are out there suffering.
Well, I was hoping you wouldn't touch on that and just keep the allure and the illusion
sweating
of
like the rest of us.
Mate, I've done the hard yards for quite some time out in the sticks, thank you. So about time I got one of the cushy ones. And cushy, that is a nice 2-set win
Easy.
for Paul Burnett and Chris McHugh, the number 1 seeds. Congratulations to them. They're through to the next phase. They will be taking on their next opponents, James Tacken and Matsu Jaba. Thank you to our graphics department there. And next up is going to be another round of 12, but it's going to be Schumann and Tang taking on each other.
It's a bit of a Vic off here, isn't it?
Jeepers.
Old partnership, head to head.
I might yes.
Is there any bad blood? Who will tell?
I don't know. You've set it up. You've done this before. Thanks again, Zach, for your company and your insights. It's been amazing, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. We'll
Thanks,
see you later.
Cheers.